Cello Practice Files, number 7, part A. Alright, so in the last one, I practiced the Allemande for about 50 minutes, but the video was only for 30 minutes. I realized that my phone not only cannot capture a lot of video at once, but it also freezes quite dramatically after about 30 minutes of video. So I'm just going to do my warm-up now, and we will stop the video after that so that it doesn't get too overwhelmed. Like I said, this is practice files number 7A, and we'll do part B and we'll practice some repertoire in just a second. If you haven't heard of this book yet, you should check it out. Practice for Performance by Daniel Morganstern. Morganstern served as the principal cellist for many years in, I think, the Metropolitan Opera or the opera here in Chicago that I can't think of the name of it right now. Anyway, he is a really important cellist of recent years. I don't know if he's still alive, but anyway, his book is really good. It's real short, and it's got all these neat anecdotes about the great performers and teachers that he studied with, and kind of his experiences growing up musically and becoming a professional, and how he figured out it was best to practice. So, I've enjoyed his book so far. Some of the exercises are very challenging to me as a somewhat still of a beginner cellist. For instance, this first one is an exercise that has you doing some difficult fingering patterns. It's designed to get your hands correctly spaced for an open hand position. And then you just move up or down in half steps. The next one he has written here, it goes to the F. then interspersed in between those patterns, he also has some other patterns. After you've gotten that finger spacing worked out using the other exercise, you can do little quick riffs and be in tune. Because your hands have already been acclimated to that open position. But you see that the pattern was the same with the finger spacing, but now you can see he's incorporated a shift, right? And with that shift, I'm purposefully leaving the shifting sound in, and I'm actually doing it in a rhythmic context. So I'm playing the shift as part of a 2/16 note, eighth note beat, right? And I'm doing that on purpose so that I'm aware of the distance that my hand has to travel, and I have an auditory kind of a cue as to when to stop my hand from shifting past the note and stick right on it. But eventually you take that away and it gets cleaner and cleaner. I still have to work on it, but you know, the way that you take that slide away is you lighten the finger pressure when you're moving, and some people advocate for actually slight lightening of the pressure that you are applying to the string through the hair, but just a smidgen right when you do the move. And I've had teachers tell me that I do that naturally when I play the violin, so I'm assuming I'm doing it on the cello, but it's hard for me to tell. You just kind of know what to do to make that shifting sound go away when I shift. And of course there are other ways. You can just take your finger off the string when you move, but you're not always given that option, especially when you're doing a slower pattern, right? So in this case, I'm doing a light harmonic shift really quick and landing in the correct location. because it starts out in E major. So you're doing the fingering pattern for E major, which has a lot of shifting in it. Almost every 3 notes you do another shift. And the beauty of the finger pattern for E major is that you can use it for almost any scale. The whole point of the warm-up series is to get your hand used to the hand position that you use very often in cello to cover a lot of notes very quickly, and the fingering that you use for pretty much any scale that you want. It works for the major scale. If you can play the major scale with the fingering, then you can play all the other ones too, with slight alterations. So I'm not going to do the whole thing because my hand's already getting tired. It requires a lot of endurance to do all of the variations, and obviously doing them more accurately than I'm doing will also help you. The next major thing that Morganstern's book has for the growing cellist is an interesting series. He presents a bass line, and you record the bass line onto another device or a tape recorder or something, whatever you have. And or you could have another person play along with you. They could play the bass line to a metronome, and you record it with a metronome, and then you play a scale series, a pattern that he provides over this bass line, and it creates some really cool harmonies. There's a lot of dissonance, especially there's a lot of suspension and release patterns. And I can't do the camera. I don't have another device to play back the bass line and have it record on the camera. So I'll have to figure out another way to show that to you. But I can just play the series of notes that you would play over the bass line to practice, get my shifting in gear, maybe do some vibrato. I don't have it completely memorized yet. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I did mess up. Up again, and you can play over the bass line plus 8 whole note E's. You can play the whole pattern twice, and then obviously that number doubles as you reduce as you speed up the pattern and you do smaller and smaller subdivisions. So eventually, you do it 4 times with quarter notes. It gets faster and faster. And yeah, it's a really cool pattern when you do it over the bass line. And he provides some other exercises and rhythm patterns that you can use with the same scale pattern over the same bass line, and it just goes on and on forever. And theoretically, you could do the same note pattern with any key and just record the bass line transposed, which I would hope to do at some point in the next year or so. But who knows what's going to happen this coming fall semester 2020 in my teaching environment, and if I'm even going to have time to practice the cello at all. The next few months will tell for sure. That's it for a warm-up.